Hello FCS 2250 computer application students to lesson 12. We're going to work in Prezi. So we're going to put that Microsoft Office book away and we are going to work on some web-based software. So let's go ahead and get started. This is pretty cool stuff, but it can also be frustrating. So for assignment 1, I need you to create a Prezi account if you do not have one already, and so you can use so using your wmich.edu email. To select, and then make sure that you select a free account. I'm getting some emails from students who say that it is only a paid for account. No, there is a free version of that, so make sure you do that. And if you're not sure, I would Google how to set up a free account in Prezi. After that, you guys, I do have a link here to get orientated with Prezi. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and it's going to take a second. But here's some great resources of how to get started with Prezi, simple steps to a great Prezi, and then my first Prezi. There's different communities, things that you can scroll through here, but I highly recommend looking at these videos to kind of get started as well. So let me go ahead and go back. Now for assignment 3, you're going to create your Prezi, and your job will be to create a Prezi presenting your major here at Western Michigan University, following the criteria below. So go ahead and market your major. Be proud of what you are going to be spending a lot of your time studying, or have been spending a lot of your time studying, depending on where you are in your educational career. I have a link here for a student example, and I've already downloaded that because it takes a second for things to load. So let me go ahead and click on this here. And this student is studying accounting, obviously, and they chose this kind of layout, or template, I should say, for theirs, which kind of fits the theme of their career, accounting. And so this is kind of theirs. And so you can go ahead and spend some time flipping through that. I'm not going to spend the whole time flipping through it, but you can spend some time looking at that. All right, so now I'm going to jump back to my directions. And the very first bulleted point there is the first information your viewers will view within your Prezi presentation will be the title, displaying your major, the name of college you'll be receiving your degree from, and lastly, who it's presented by. Please include an image depicting your major as well as an image of the college you'll be receiving your degree from. All right, so let's work on that to begin with. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to this location here. Now I've already signed up, and you can see I have a couple Prezis that I have created, but I'm going to choose create a new Prezi, and it takes a second to load up the editor, so we'll give it here just a second to load up. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day, by the way. Alright, and here are a lot of templates, and there's a few. These are kind of the latest templates that have been put on, maybe the top ones. But there's also more. And if I click on more, now this scroll bar has gotten smaller, depicting that there are a lot of different templates. And so I would highly suggest to try to find one that may fit your major. All right, and if you don't find one, you can always start from scratch by using the Start Blank Prezi here. All right, so again, I'm going to spend some time looking through there. Oh, there we go. And try to find one that may work for you. So for this presentation, I'm going to choose Timeless. All right, we'll do that one. And so I'm going to double click that. And now it is loading up my template. And right away, boom, there I can add a title. So according to our directions, I'm going to kind of scroll that to the side there and maybe put that over here. And you can always click and drag. You see that little hand that I have there? I can always click and drag and move that around. So I know I'm splitting my screen, and so I'm also going to zoom out, if you will. You can always play around with your zoom in and zoom outs as well. So I'm going to zoom out. Now I know it looks really small, but the first one that we need over here for my first bulleted point again is once again to present my major. So I have a degree in education. All right. It also asks us to put the college that we'll be receiving our degree from. right, and you're probably going to want to play around with this a little bit, and I might want to just enter there to get that on a separate line and play around with that, and you guys can kind of play around with that. Now, it also needs kind of who this is presented by. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to click somewhere else, and it opens up a new text box, and I can put all right. And again, I may have to stretch that out a little bit. Let me go ahead and full size this a little bit and drag things back around and maybe blow that up a little bit. So you'll be playing around with blowing it up and down a little bit, or zooming in and out is the proper terminology, I should say. And you can always change, you know, the size of your text. This is smaller, obviously. This is bigger. And you can play around with that as well, and you can stretch things out so that way things are all on one line, and you'll just get the hang of it. It'll take a second, and again, for me to move that around, you can see I'm in the editor mode right now. I can't move it around. I simply clicked off of it, and then now I can click back on it and I can move that where I want it to be. All right. I also need a picture. Simple enough. Insert. Now I already went and image and found some pictures of the college that we have here, so Western Michigan University. A couple things on this. I can always zoom in or zoom out. I can go to the corner and I can move it around. Kind of cool. I can then crop the image. I can add effects to the image. I can do all sorts of stuff. So that's kind of cool. And so I probably want to make this a little bit smaller for demonstration purposes, and let me go ahead and move that back to nice and straight. So there we are. So a few things that I have done so far is added a text box here, added an image there, and now I'm ready to start working on my first slide. So I'm actually going to click on number 2 right here, and it zooms into this location right here. All right, and so now going back to my directions, you guys can simply follow along. So the second frame will be a narrative about the background of your major you have chosen from WMU. So I would suggest to research on WMU's website a little bit about the degree you are receiving. I'm sure that there is information online, a little bit about the background of that, as well as searching some periodicals or brochures. Now, please do me a favor. If you start putting text in, don't put too much text. I've seen some presentations with text that is, there's so much text there that I can't read it. And so make sure that it is a good readable font size. If you can say, hey, that is just too much information, it's so crammed together, I can't see it, my font is way too big, then probably we can as well. You can always increase. Now this is always fun. I'm trying to increase this circle, if you will. So it's always fun trying to activate this. And let me try to click on number 2. Double click to edit path. Well, that's to edit the actual path. So that's not what I want. So give me a second. And now I'm doing things that I shouldn't. I'm going to do a Control Z on my keyboard to stop that. And I'm going to choose done up here to stop that path. Now I have it edited. There we go. Now I have it selected. So it takes a little bit. This is where I can tell that sometimes Prezi will be frustrating. So, hey, I want to increase the size of that box, if you will. Now, truthfully, it really doesn't matter the size of the box. You could have it this big, and I can zoom right into it and then add the text to it. And in the presentation mode, it would be that size. Well, actually, I did that backwards. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to zoom in using my mouse on my keyboard. And this is still that small size that I have created there. But if I put text in it, I would be able to read it the size of the text that you put in. So I know that's a little wordy, and I apologize for that. But if you play around with it, you'll see what I'm getting. But again, now you're just going to edit your text a little bit. You're going to put a title to it. You're going to, you've got some content that you're going to put in here from about your major. And also pictures. So I would like a couple pictures. And again, you just need to insert a picture from something that, you know, is picking your major. And you can always make it smaller. Drag it on over in there. You can play around with the size and all that good stuff, but again, I'm just going to maybe just add some quick text in there, and I know that makes no sense, but you know, just to kind of see what we have here. And so there we go. Now, if you ever want to see what this may look like, choose Present. So this is what I would look at when I first see it. So your degree is, or your major is education. You're getting your degree from Western Michigan University. I can see what's presented by. And you can obviously see in my first bubble that I worked on, it's quite small. However, if I hit my arrow keys, it's going to kind of start the presentation. It goes to that, boom, it kind of blows it up to where I can see that a little bit better. Now, if I would continue, I'm just pressing my arrow keys. You can also press your mouse key to move along your slide. Well, maybe not. Again, sometimes they change things in Prezi. Let me go ahead and try that again. I'm using my arrow keys now on the keyboard. Oh, this is what I should have been pressing. Apologies. And now it's kind of going right along the path of your presentation. All right. So let me go ahead and escape out of my presentation mode. What if you need more frames than what we have here? Simply add a frame. All right. You can put it where you want it to be. You can then actually copy this. All right. So I'm going to do a Control C and then a Control V, and I just copied and pasted that. And you can always play around with where that's going to go. And then you can once again play with your file path by clicking on this and then clicking the actual number on it. And now you can see where I have made that a part of my path. Actually, I need to go from number 5. Yeah, I am from number 5 to number 6. Beautiful. So once again, if you wanted to play with that size, oh, it looks like I'm adding another one even. Well, no, actually I added that to my file path. I think I need to move that up. So anyways, this can get very interesting if you ever need to delete one of them. You know what? I don't need this one I just created. Delete it. I don't need this. I can click on it. Press the delete key on the keyboard. I don't need this number 5 one. You can click on it. Delete it. It's going to take it away from the path. You probably want to get rid of this as well. I'm pressing my delete key. So again, Prezi can get very interesting at times. Now I'm just scrolling out of it to move things around. Just be patient with it. Use your scroll up and down on your mouse. That's what I'm doing right now, to scroll in and out on my mouse to really work on different parts of the presentation. So hopefully that helps. Don't forget to watch the video on how to submit your Prezi properly, so I get the proper link. A lot of times I get people submitting to me their editing URL. That's not the correct one, so make sure that you submit me the correct URL to view your Prezi. So if you have any questions, please send me an email, and we'll try to answer those as quickly as we can. Have a great day, everybody.